Good morning. It's barely morning. So I might need to do a little bit of zhuzhing, but hopefully that won't be too crazy. So uh, there we go. Oops. Window mostly over there. Okay. All right. Much more reasonable. So, well, apparently there's one more thing I need to get out of frame, but this isn't the end of the world. So, welcome to the Great Stash Photo 2022. This is where I do my yarn inventory. And apparently I'm drinking first coffee and haven't had breakfast, and this might go for a while, and alas. And so what's going to happen is I'll probably end up doing this in two parts. I guess we'll see. We'll see what ends up making sense. So I have my stash in plastic Ziploc bags. And it's always a good idea to check up on your plastic Ziploc bags because they do get like sliced by tags and that sort of thing. So this is a good time to make sure all the bags are airtight, make sure all of the yarn is in good condition. Would it be get a reminder of how much yarn one has, and all of that fun stuff. So that's not too crazy. So we have first coffee of the day. The ocean is a delightful blue color. What would it be? And I have a little bit of like yarn and fiber that hasn't even made it to the put away state yet. As you do. Not like we're going to be. We're not too crazy right now. I took part in a secret Santa swap, so that's what the rainbow fiber is over there. And this is my last spinning project that's now finally dry. And then my local yarn shop has their end of year sale. So last year I went to their end of year sale, and who would it be? Sort of earlier in the week, if that makes any sense. I ask. Lots of useful things in the bag. But this year I sort of had a more specific plan. I wanted to get some of this fully spun, which is dyed in the wool and then plied. And then I ended up picking up a sweater quantity from their clearance rack, and it was like 70% off. It was very, very, or would it be super fine merino yak. It's nice stuff. So, and would be mini ply, super mini ply. So that was good. So that is the story there. Normally what ends up going down is I'll do like pictures in a couple of different stages. It's also been slightly chaotic around here because what would it be? We are reshuffling where things are in the house, so there's a bookshelf over there that's out of frame. And then also maybe some disappointment because so last year arranged everything on the bed. The problem is that I probably needed to start closer to 8 if I wanted to have a reasonable light the whole time. So, oh well. So, shouldn't be too crazy. And you can, or would we, right? My spinning wheel is in frame, and I will need to get that out of frame along with my armchair. So normally the armchair is back in that corner by the mirror. Is my overhead light is here, and that is the best zoom position. So it shouldn't be too crazy. Just enjoying some coffee. What would it be? But probably should get started, maybe. So first things first. May just be trapping myself in this room. It might be a fire hazard. And then, second thing, is getting the spinning wheel out of the way. So I may end up including that fiber in the shot. You shall see. With the end. So not too crazy. Now I'm debating right now if I want to actually have everything set up on the floor instead of the bed, because it'll actually make for a better picture. So I might actually go ahead and do that. But we can use like the bed as like a staging area. So not too crazy. But would it be? You're like, I figure out if there is slightly, we'll make it work. So, so if I'm using the floor as my canvas, I will want to probably get my fiber out, even though it isn't. Going to get the first picture. We'll put this over here. I feel like I've picked up quite a bit of fiber recently. Oh, that does end up looking pretty happy and cheerful, doesn't it? And then one of the reason why I'm going to end up doing fiber last is because I need to make my selection for the Spin the Bin Challenge, which is something that is run by the Completely Twisted and Arbitrary group. And so their thing is setting aside at least 24 ounces of fiber as like a spinning intention for the year. With the goal being, what would it be? Sort of evaluating the stash and figuring out what might be stagnant or what your spinning intentions for the year are. And it didn't seem like we were going to have it. It didn't seem like we were going to end up having it this year, but last minute the threads went up, so what would it be? Susan decided it was going to be. So as a result, I probably do want to put together my bin for that. And then, I have not grabbed all the fiber. So what's out of frame right now is sort of my like overflow area. So I have like a spinning work in progress. The other part of the fiber that I'm spinning right now, and then like a BFL rainbow for drum carding purposes. So I probably should fix that too. I might actually take this guy and just leave this with my works in progress. As you do. Okay. So, let's see here. The next thing. I actually managed to use up some of the Ziploc bags, which was fun. So the next thing I generally end up doing is a picture just with the hand spun. Because that tends to be fun. And I might do that one on the bed because that's pretty straightforward. The light has not gotten bad here yet. And this year was a really good year for me for using Handspun, so it was exciting. I took part in a challenge called Fluff to Stuff. Which has two components to it. Like, the real intent is probably to people like spinning with intent. So deciding what sort of project you want to make and then executing on that plan. Okay, so but I was using it as an opportunity to use some hand spun, which was I've been hanging out in the stash for a while. It'd be the case where there are a couple of different challenges that I participate in throughout the year. Chronologically, the CTA Spin the Bin encourages you to spin. I normally do Stash Dash, which based on sort of their rules for spinning incentivizes you to spin in order to get large yardages. And then I participated in the Fluff to Stuff. Unfortunately, that Fluff to Stuff isn't going to be happening this year. So what that means is, if I end up having hand spun intentions, as you do, there will not be like an external community motivation factor going on there. But, whatever. So, and I think it's also interesting to note, like when you look at the stash, like I have like the bottom row just fiber, and then I have that far side just be hand spun. So it is the case where I definitely do have more fiber ergodicity. You add all that up. It's sort of like equal parts fiber and hand spun in comparison to like commercial yarn. And then it's sort of the case where if you look like these or whatever, so this one, right, this one, and this one, there we go, are effectively speaking sweater quantities, and then this one is shawl yarn. That's true. That could be either way. So this guy's shawl yarn, this guy's sock yarn, and this guy here is commercial sock yarn. So just interesting fun fact. Would it be if I want to make projects like in DK or sport, like I normally have to go buy yarn. So would be, it's okay. They're just, or would it be? It'd just be the case where part of it, I think, is like the legacy of stash. So it'd be the case where like you buy yarn for yarn in a reasonable amount of time, and so then you move to a different place. You're like, I just want worsted weight sweaters. Whatever. It's always 57. Worsted weight sweaters, perfectly comfortable when it's 57 out. Whereas it took me a long time in Dallas to figure out even fingering weight wool was a little bit too much, and that I needed to have like linen and cotton in order to wear knitting for more parts of the year. And then was spinning like lace weight, which is much more challenging to knit up. So it's just funny how those things end up working out. So, I think I'm gonna just start opening bags. Call it good. And we'll have to figure out what way I end up going. So it'd be the case where with the hand spun, I've definitely noticed, like, so this was like a bag of samples. So it's all sorts of interesting small skeins, things I've learned about in classes and that sort of thing. And then this bag here is like more substantial. So there are samples in there, but there's also like enough to even like make it like a full project. Or would it be? It'd be the case where it's like I'd feel comfortable doing something bigger with it. But what would it be? As opposed to this is probably the finest skein I've ever spun. So as you do. And then like I have, I don't know, this was probably actually a mixture of like samples and leftovers, because I think at this point my small skeins are sort of outnumbering the big ones. And like this is a baggie of yarn that I've spun this year, so this was a part of my spin the bin for 2021. And then what's also embedded in here is, what would it be? There are some sweater quantities lurking within my handspun right now. Like this is 1,500 yards. And so this is 1,500 yards. Like this can make a full-on sweater. So that's okay. And then other things like this, where these are like leftovers from my sweater project, so I had ample remaining. I don't even know why they're in the same bag as that, but whatever. And then it's the case where I have been like contemplating what to do with this whole series of red yarn. It can only be with itself. Yeah. So these skeins were dyed with the runoff from these skeins. So would it be? The dyer did end up replacing the puffer for me with a different color, which I really appreciate. But yeah, challenging yarn to use. When I was searching for what sweater I wanted to make with the yak yesterday, because I had added some sweaters to my queue, I realized that I'd actually tagged this for making like a long line cardigan, so that may be what ends up happening. So should be good. Definitely some beautiful and precious things lurking in here. In cases where I think I'm like expanding my horizons, so this is what would it be, like a long roll blend that I was working on, not putting too much twist in. And then this is a sample for a sweater, which the fleece will eventually become. So that was an intention for this year, was trying to figure out how to make that type of yarn. And this is just a bag of, what would it be? All of these super fine lace weight skeins. Interestingly, I think these two might actually be very pretty together. If I could make that work. I don't know, this one is sort of like an oil slick. This one is, what would it be? Greens with like shots of like blue and purple and brown. Not my usual color scheme. But yeah, or would it be? I think this one was. These are that spin it's a loose fit yarn. I don't know why. And here is my bag of leftovers. So these are all leftovers from handsplit projects. And then my sock yarn experiments. And then finally a baggie of jewel tones. Like, it's gorgeous. Yeah, so these are actually matched skeins. I think these are 3 plies. I spun them, it might be like a combo draft, and I spun them so that they were similar but different. And then would it be a project that never came to be, which I have to laugh about at this point because the hat I wanted to knit this cowl for has been lost months ago. And technically speaking, this counts as a leftover, actually. Knit a sweater yoke with this. So. This is a pretty good pile of yarn here. So the thought process here is going to be getting my bags out of the way, but we got it all out of bags. We'll just store that in. I have a little mailbox that I keep the stuff in. So not too crazy. And what would it be? There's nothing like looking at like a giant pile of yarn too. What would it be? Especially hand spun, being like, ooh, ah. So works out. And then oops. All right. So, what would it be? Get the camera out. Was like looking at the staging of the photo. When you get it all out of plastic bags, it does seem like the one hand spun is way more. But not too crazy. So, what I like to do is then get things arranged in some sort of fun way. What I'm wondering about now is if I actually want to like class this by weight. Instead of another way. With maybe the goal being keeping, I don't know. I think that actually is a good one because that sort of sets up for like what type of project I want to make with it. It will make it easier to put away in the end. And then I can decide if I want to arrange them like a different way by color or something like that. Because I often do a rainbow, but it doesn't need to be that way. What would it be? So there are and then the other challenge is getting things lined up nicely, but that shouldn't be too crazy. But some of this is very fine. And there may end up needing to be 2 rows of lace at this point. And then I might end up putting we'll see. So like some of this probably counts as like light fingering even. Like I am capable of spinning some thicker yarn, but not always. And definitely some of these are big skeins because I've started to do more like whatever 8-ounce or more projects as time has gone on. There's some of the because I'm getting into smaller bits, it's a little bit harder to class. Be like leftovers. Okay. Some of these are very, very small indeed. all of this is on the very small end of things. Yeah, these samples and leftovers are especially hard. They're just pretty small little bits of stuff. Okay. It's sort of the case where I'm trying to figure out which way I want to do this. Some of this is going to end up making a bigger mess than I intend. Okay. Close the sample. Goes with the other guys. May just be the case where we have a slightly chaotic pile of yarn there. Call it good. I suppose the problem with being on the floor is it's a little bit more challenging to squish because they will slide. Okay. I guess when you slide it, it stays, so it's not terrible. A couple of these minis are just so mini that it's a little bit harder to put in places. Okay. And that will just be slightly chaotic. That'll be fine. Maybe date. So okay, roughly speaking, square. Roughly speaking, arranged in would it be sweater quantities, leftovers, lace weight, fingering weight, overflow fingering weight, thicker weight, and samples. So not too crazy. Like, but it is funny when you think that whatever 2 cubes ends up taking up that area. And so, now the $1 million question is, can I actually get a good photo of this? And then the other, I don't know, I'm guessing that other ones won't be quite so tricksy to arrange just because the handspun comes in many different there's not a consistent weight or consistent skein length or size or what have you. Okay. But there's definitely a couple spots where it's like, I tried. Oh man, we can like do like a direct overhead shot here. And get a pretty good photo. Okay. So, not too crazy. Now the question is, will I be able to, no, it doesn't look like I will be able to spread all of the yarn out at once and still get a good shot. So there's that. But whatever. Would it be also the case where, would it be in years past, I ended up approaching it from the perspective of, or approaching it from the perspective of, like, okay, like, here's this part of my stash, here's that part of my stash, that sort of thing, which I'm feeling a little bit less into at this point. So, so maybe the case where I tackle the sweater quantities next, and that means I get to leave some of the handspun out, since it is more like sweater quantity amounts. I don't know, there isn't a lot of it right now. I think I have more intentions to spin for handspun sweaters than otherwise, so that's fine. And then it might be the case where I would be do I don't know, it may be the case where I sort of roughly chunk my stash into like sweaters. Or would it be? We've done handspun, do sweaters, do socks, do the shawl yarn because I had to like just dedicate its own little cube for that thing. Um, and not be too rudiby. And maybe if I feel like it, I will do a special Woolmisa only shot. So at this point, I think um, at this stage in the game, the handspun is definitely outnumbering the Woolmisa for sure. And then maybe be slightly annoyed that I'll have to resort my samples again. But in terms of thick yarn, I just have like 3 skeins of thick handspun. One. There we go. Got a ball. It will be the case where I guess I'm thinking about how exactly I plan to use some of this. So lace weight is definitely on the more challenging side for the stash. The socks, not too crazy. I may actually need to I'm thinking about what things are intended for. Like, it is a pretty good pile of sock yarn. Okie dokie. Definitely need to retwist this game. Interestingly enough, this is intended for a sweater that's supposed to be knit in Pull-My-Sew, but that's okay. Oh, this one isn't even on my side. It just looks like it. Leftovers. Okay. So, I'm going to be not too crazy. It's like colorwork yoke sweater. This actually looks to be a mixture of yarn. Some of it in the sweater quantity stash is actually not even. Like I have it with the sweater quantities, but that doesn't mean it doesn't mean that it was actually the sweater quantity at this point. So I might want to refigure that. Oh well. So let's see. I'm like, it's like leftovers. I think I intend to make a hat with this yarn. But like, this is leftovers. don't know. Sometimes meal kit stuff, you're like, this doesn't really belong. Like it could and it couldn't. I think that'll fit nicely. I have one funny bag, which is a sweater quantity doesn't quite fit in a Ziploc bag. Or the sweater quantity for me does not fit in a single. And for woolen spun yarn, the sweater quantity barely fits in two, but this was definitely one I was hoping to get to this year, but didn't end up working out. I feel like I need to arrange in gradient order. Also, ones like this where you're not sure if it will or what sort of skein you need to make it fit nicely. Okay. Certainly no shortage of yarn for sweaters. All right. So, not too crazy. Would it be awful lot of blue and teal going on right there? But would it be? I guess this ends up bringing the question of how I'm going to sort all this, but that'll be fine. When I get to the rebagging step. Okie dokie. And only a little bit of overlap. So, another group bites the dust. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to logistically deal with all this. Alright. I think I did a good job of separating shell quantities from each other. Okay. Yeah, this might be a little bit more chaotic than I thought, but it was apparently slightly more chaotic than I thought when I was putting it away. think I just started putting it wherever it would fit. Oh, this doesn't seem quite as intense as I was previously thinking. Okay. I guess unless we think about this in terms of we can probably keep the white sweet in this one. I'm gonna have to laugh a little bit about the leftovers, but such is life. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to include the fun in this one. anything more than. Here's some more. This isn't necessarily sock yarn, but we'll throw it out. This almost looks a little bit silly. Not too crazy at all. And this will fit very nicely on the bed. This might be the smallest pile. This is all activities. This is all activities. All activities. Okay. This is just downright adorable. page. But this was very random. I feel like this guy has lost its way somewhat. Oh, that's fine. But I started saving small amounts of things for fixing. So that's why I have a lot of these little butterflies and small ones. So that then if I end up using all of the scraps in the project, I still have some yarn left over for repairs. Some of this could be counted as like leftovers of size, because you could definitely make something with some of this. Okay. And I tried to keep my taste of little nice and smaller little nice scraps. In one spot, and then my more substantial scraps. Wasting fingering in that bag, so I don't know what I was thinking. We have these little quadrants of leftovers. Like, anything. But no, nothing. Okay. Would be. It may be the case where I actually sit down and put away, sit down and put away the scraps right away. Just because it looks like that needs to be, or would it be that will need to be dealt with post haste. Would it be, and I don't want to screw up my organization system that I had going there, because I was pretty happy with how that was working, where I had worsted, the knot wool, 100% wool, separate from the stock yarn. And then my wool Nysa is sort of separated almost in lines too. So that was a good system. I like that system. I want to carry that forward into the new year. But I think what's going to happen, or what's going to end up happening next is, whether we put that away and we'll just throw that on the bed and I'll take a picture of the bounty on the bed. And then I will get into the fiber, because the fiber is still in Ziploc bags at this point. And then from there, after I'm done looking through the fiber, I'll have to figure out if I'm going to bag up the yarn on the bed, or let it be like set aside a separate one for spin purposes. Yeah, we shall see how it works out. But whatever, I needed to take frequent breaks. Sit down for a little bit, chill out. And so the other thing before I start would really be the case where I think the fiber might need a little extra screening. So we shall see how all of that comes together. So it'll be same song but in reverse. But it is really nice to have all of the not wool separate. Because then you're not accidentally using it in like a scrappy project unintentionally. And technically speaking, I think this is wool cotton blend, but we'll be okay with that. But I am very thankful that this year I knit through all of the linen, because I've definitely noticed it's much harder on my body to work with. So it's good to know that is all done and taken care of. So I ended up knitting 2 linen or cotton linen skeins this year, which was good. Or 2 cotton linen sweaters. Let me amend that statement. And so that was a part of like my Dallas stash that made less sense to be a part of my San Francisco stash, though I am getting a lot of wear out of the cotton linen sweater right now. I held that with the wool to make it more of like a worsted weight sort of situation. I am tempted at this point actually to, well, I think I do actually want to keep all of my loose weight together, so I probably, but I might, and this is sort of the nice thing about pulling it all out, because sometimes when you're done with the project, you're like, oh crap, I need to put this away now. And what's nice about doing things this way is being like, oh, now that I have more lace weight scraps, it makes sense to sort them together instead of having them be separate and stuff like that. Though this is also a time to consider. And I think I'm gonna go with the traditional, not even showing the works in progress that are going on right now. I'm gonna be active here. That is getting actively used, and does not need to be part of the photo for accountability reasons. Oh man, this ball has been falling apart for a long time. Yeah, it just like totally fell apart here. It's okay. So if there, oh, there are definitely some scary tangles in here though. Let's see. So I think I would need to clear out a pretty big section of the house in order to get together a rainbow again. So unfortunately, that is just not in the cards for the time being. There would be too much. This room is definitely not big enough. I'm not moving the bed to a different place in order to make that happen. Which, whatever, it's fine. Some of these steps are almost to the comically small size. So it's like, do you like this yellow yarn? Probably should just include it in my nice game ties. I actually used to have like a full Ziploc bag. Like I probably could have consolidated, but I sort of like having the shawl yarn separate from stuff. But now the my lace can have its own. There's enough leftover lace at this point that's pretty safe to put that in its own bag. All right. I'm going to start the bag for the lace, so I'm just keeping all the lace together. always get a little worried when bags do that, but they're about ready to die. Right. There she all is. Definitely takes up much less room in the storage, instead of outside the storage. Can I? Make it nicely fit in the picture. Not too crazy. Yeah, when you look at all the pictures I've taken so far today, it's definitely the case where sweater yarn definitely seems to be sweater yarn and handspun definitely seem to be a very high runner in terms of total amount of stiff. I feel like the fiber is going to end up taking up lots of space. Definitely pleased with how much luxurious stuff is here, though. Feels really good. Anything that's in a bag can stay in a bag. Anything that's in the bag will get leak tested. Well, I'm wondering if my spin the bin intention for this bag, like pounds of fiber and just a lot of fiber for one person to have. But I could very well like set aside some like sweater quantity spins and be pretty happy with that result. But of course, the case where it seems like you were doing like a good job of spinning down the fiber stash, and then you decide to buy a little extra fiber. As you okay. But I'm just like when you look at like the rough outline of what's going on, Yarn School definitely stands out to me amongst the stuff here. Because it's a lot of 8-ounce lots of fiber as well. And it's all my handbags, so it's not like they are in colors I don't love. It's like this blue, well, my blue. So, whatever. We'll make it work. All right. But like some of this is like the Hello Yarn, for example, is all Yarn School fiber. She did a pretty good job spinning down the natural fiber. Oops. Do a swapperoo. My fiber optic was, I think, something I targeted this year. All right. Nice. Another. Might be something floating around. Ah, so many delightful silk blends. My wool silk blend, but I have quite a few wool silk blends. Okay. Where is the Okay. So. I feel like I'm gonna have to go back to Ravelry and reference what I have hanging out there. There's would be a fun transition that occurs. Then we have some very luxurious dry spool stuff, and then something a little bit more woolly wool. Just needed figure out my sorting scheme. This is just the whole sleeve. But I definitely put together some sweater combos amongst this. A little bit more unfurled. So definitely can't join in this fiber club again this year. All right. Rolling this on all that end of it. Taking. Put this up a little bit more. So definitely a lot of fiber. And what if you not displeased with this year's acquisitions, but I definitely see a strong argument for focusing on these super long eight-ounce braids. Because their time has probably come. And maybe not putting too much pressure on using too much pressure on the fleece this year. Okay. But I definitely got some things moved out of the stash, so that's good. Quite a bit of stuff, so not too crazy. So, based on the status of things, I think I will do a little bit of studying and figure out what some of my young school intentions were. But it's looking like fiber-wise, focusing on some yarn schools for our qualities might be a very productive way to do the spin knitting this year. And then Butterfree, and then my already existing projects are also would be probably fair game for that. But I think I'm pretty sure I have like a combo that I'd set aside, which is combining some of my hand dyed fiber with some of the Hello yarn. So that'll get me, that'll probably get me like a good 8 months of spinning and then putting together the rest. But not too crazy. So, yeah. Thanks for both of you joining in. We didn't have too much chitter chatter, which is fine. It would be the only chitter chatter was the spam bots, so whatever, we can ignore that. Um, but yeah, no, sit down, um, whatever, give the yarn shelf a good scrub, and then start putting things away. Hopefully in an order that somewhat makes sense. And then take a picture of everything all sorted, because that would, whatever, make me happy. But it'd be always, um, like, always good to check your bags, check your yarn, make sure everything looks good, make sure um, you don't have damage from critters or mold or anything like that. And then move on with the day. So, alright. Take care, guys. Bye bye.